31st of October, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Okay, so let's go through this again. We started yesterday from Itmar, Ganav Machar. This is found 3 lines from the top of Kuftes Bava Amid Aleph, 115a. Right after the 2 dots, Itmar. So we go to Roy to start the reading for us.
All right. Itmar, it was stated Ganav umaver u'acha bach huvo haganav. If one stole articles and sold them, and afterwards the thief was discovered. Sold them and the thief was discovered afterwards. Rav Mishmar de Ravi Chai Omar. Rav says in the name of Rav Chaya, Hadin Am Harashon. The claim of the owner is only against the first one, that's the thief. Claim of the owner is only against the thief, the first one. Rabbi Yochanan Mishmei Rabbi Yonai Amar, but Rav Yochanan says in the name of Rav Yonai, Hadin im Hashani, the claim of the owner is also against the second one, which is the buyer. And the Gemara suggests there's no dispute between these 2 opinions. But I think I should probably stop there, shouldn't I?
Okay, let's take a look at Rashi. Adinim Arishon. Phil can read one and Luke can read the other one.
The din is Rishon. The din is with the first one. Dino shel Baal Habayit. That's the din of the owner. The Tviyato al Haganav. And his claim is on the thief. The aim alokeach baldino, and the purchaser, the guy who bought it from the thief, he's not a matter of the din. The im bo legavto, and if he comes to claim it, to collect his money, haimina yitain demim, you would give him the money. But afalgav, afterward, shehukar haganav, afterwards, after you've identified who the thief is, lo amin, we don't say yakzir lokeach hakeli, that the purchaser doesn't have to give up his utensils like free of charge without any payment. Minagav viafra yipara minaganav. He has to. This now will say that the purchaser now has to collect the money from the thief. He has to get reimbursed from the thief.
Okay, so who's getting reimbursed from the thief?
The guy who bought the things from somebody. There's a purchaser who bought these stolen utensils, and now if he's got to give that money back to the other guy, to the owner, then he's got to get his money back from the thief. So the thief is the only one in the end who's going to end up losing money.
Yeah. Okay, so fine. And let's go to the next Rashi. Adin im hasheni.
Din im hasheni. De'eno shel Baal Habayis im halokeach who v'yotze haimenu kelav bichinam. So let's see the law of the original owner. If the purchaser, I'm sorry, with the purchaser, he goes out from him. I'm sorry, the objects that were stolen go out from the purchaser for free. Purchaser has to give them back to the balabayas, and he doesn't get compensated for his loss.
Yeah, this is a question over here because Rashi doesn't follow through and say the Yifra Minaganav over here for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. Not sure why he doesn't say that. I'd be interested to hear what the art scroll has to say about that.
Let's see.
No, maybe it'll. I don't know.
It doesn't.
Doesn't get into it. In other words,
there's two notes, number 4 and number 5. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can read them all.
even on the top, it should say. In other words, even on the top, when you're translating when you're translating Hadini Masheni, it should say over there that
The first art scroll, number 4, talks about the Rishon, and number 5 talks about the Sheni. So who's here to read that, to read the English on this? I mean, I can read it, but other people can read it too.
that's what I'm saying. I don't think you need to do that. I think it should be on top. The simple translation of the Gemora should include the
The simple group translation is the claim is only against the thief, is what it means to have a Rishon.
How do they explain that? What do they say after that? They say something?
That's the note on number 4. The owner has the right to collect monetary compensation from the thief, but he has no claim against the buyer. That's what it means to Rishon and not the Sheni. This means even the buyer has not legally acquired the stolen articles, for example, through Yiyush and a change of domain, in which case he must certainly return them. The owner has to compensate the buyer for the loss. Even though the thief has been discovered, the buyer is not obligated to return the articles to the owner without compensation. And then
that's talking about the first. That's talking about the Deni Marishon.
Right. And so the Dini of the Sheni, that's the number 5's notes.
Okay. Yeah. No, Rashi clearly says the Deni Marishon that the Lokeach can get paid back from the Ganav for the money that he had to give to the owner.
Okay, so the Sheni, what it says about the Sheni, though, is note 5. He has the option of collecting monetary compensation from the thief or recovering his property from the buyer without paying him. The premise of this opinion is that although the buyer did not steal directly from the victim, he is nevertheless classified as a thief, since he is depriving the owner of his possessions. Hence, the owner has a direct monetary claim on him, just as he does on the thief himself. The owner can thus require the buyer to return the stolen goods and does not have to pay him anything. Rav and Rav Yochanan agree that the owner has the right to sue the thief himself, They also agree the buyer must return the stolen items, provided he has not acquired them through Yeush and Shini Rushus. Their only point of contention is whether the owner, upon recovering his property, is required to compensate the buyer.
Okay, so that last part that you read, I think, is what we're going to read now in Rav Yosef. Okay, but I didn't hear from anything that you said that in the case of Hadini Masheni, where we say that the owner can claim also against the buyer. In other words, we regard the buyer as a thief, and in this that the owner has a claim against him, and then he could recover his item from the buyer, and he doesn't have to pay him anything for it. But he didn't follow the translation, did not, and the elucidation did not say that, and now the buyer can go to the thief and get reimbursed for that.
It does,
He paid the thief. He paid the thief, but now the buyer took it away from him.
it does give a reference to, he says, C 114b, note 33, the second approach.
Okay.
So,
Second approach to what?
I don't know. You'll see, if you look at the note there, you'll see what it means. I don't know. I haven't looked.
Okay.
Excuse me. I've got to take some tablets. I think I'm getting a migraine again. Hope to be
Okay.
short. Hope to be back shortly. Excuse me.
Okay. So let's go to the hope Roy feels better soon. Bezrat Hashem.
Amen.
Amen.
Amar Rav Yosef. We're up to Rav Yosef. Let's see what the Rav Yosef says over here. And we go to who's everybody read so far. So we'll go to Lou to continue.
Amar Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef said, "Lo pligi." They do not disagree. Kan lifnei Yeush. Here, it is before Yeush, before despair. Hadin im hasheni, which is the case, in which case the claim of the owner is also against the second one, the buyer. Before Yeush, so the owner is still the owner. He has a claim against the buyer. The English says to return the stolen goods without receiving compensation. Kan the achar Yeush. Here it's after Yeush, after despair. Adin im harishon, and thus the claim of the victim is only against the first one, the thief, not the buyer, because it's after Yeush. So, in other words, since he gave up hope, the purchaser is the legitimate owner at this time. So the original owner has no claim against the purchaser. He only has a claim against the thief. The tar vaihu is lehu derav chizda. And in both cases, Rav Yochanan and Rav agree with Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda rules above that if one person stole something and another consumed it in order, then it prior to the owner's yeush, the owner can collect compensation from the third party.
Okay. So in other words, Rav Yosef wants to say that they're not arguing. Rav and Rabbi Yochanan, he wants to say that each one of them is talking about a little bit different factual scenario.
Right.
Okay, that's what he says. All right. Who's saying what? Rabbi Yochanan, in other words. Oh, for some reason he's starting off with here we're talking before Yeush. Rabbi Yochanan, he's starting off with the second speaker, the second opinion that says the din is with the sheni. The one that says the din is with the sheni, in other words, he could go and collect. He can go and collect the article from the buyer. He can take it away from the buyer and doesn't have to pay him anything because that is where the original owner was not yet meyayesh. He wasn't yet meyayesh. And in the case where the din is with the Rishon, then it's after Yeyosh. Oh, so if it's after, in other words, if it's after Yehush, so then the purchaser, even though he didn't know whether he doesn't know he did the purchaser is now buying it, and now you've got Yehush and Shinu Rishus, and so now the purchaser can make a kinyan. You can't even take it away from him. So his only recourse is to go to the Goslin and get and that's not much of a recourse at this point. He can't get his thing back because all he can do is go to the Goslin and get money for being for Gosling his thing. That's what he could do. Okay, let's see what Rashi says over here. Rashi says, there's a Rashi over here, Lifnei Yeush. Lifnei
Yeush, before doing Yeush. Lakachnu min Haganef. Yeush, he purchased it from a thief before Yeush. So I guess it really wasn't even his if he purchased it before Yeush. So the thief hadn't acquired it, so it's still a stolen item.
Right. So in that case, the purchaser does not make an acquisition from the Ganev when he purchases it and gives money to the Ganev for the item, because the Ganev didn't have a kinyan, and he can't confer any kinyan in the purchaser either, because the owner has not been miyayish yet. So all you have is so you don't have anything. There's no. So therefore the balabais, he can retrieve his item from the purchaser, because the purchaser didn't acquire it.
Wow.
and he doesn't have to even pay him anything for it either. Whereas in the case of the and that's what Rabbi Yochanan, the second speaker, was talking about, the dini masheni. And Rav was talking about the case after Yeush. So in other words, meaning at the time that the Lokeach yeah, let's just make it simple. Let's say that the already at the time that the purchaser purchased it from the Ganav, he gave him money for it. He can make an acquisition at that point because the owner has already given up hope of returning his item. So that means that he can make an acquisition with those two factors of Yeush of the owner and a transfer of Rishus, change of hands into his hands. That will give him an actual halakhic acquisition. Now the item belongs to him, and actually belongs to him. Okay. And so therefore the only recourse that the owner has would be to go to the Rishon. According to that, it wouldn't seem that the owner could force the guy to sell it to him either. Rashi. Okay, let's go further. Oh, and Travayu Islahu de Rav Chisda, and both of them hold like Rav Chisda. And we need to see the Rashi over here to understand what does Rav Chisda say, and how is it that both of the Rav and Rabbi Yochanan hold like him. So read the Rashi, the Rav Chisda. Do you want to read? Oh, Alan is coming in. Lou, would you like to read? Rashi.
Okay. Which one is it?
Dibra Maschil de Rav Chisda, third line, at the end of the line.
Third line. The Rav Chisda. Gazal below Nechai show ha baalim uva achar va'achlo rotze mizeh gova kule. Let's see what that says so far. So he stole it, and and the owner did not give up hope. And he came after and he consumed it.
Somebody else came along and ate it.
And he
What's me say? Go there.
he wanted something from it.
He wants to collect, Govers to collect and so. But here the difference is the person who consumed it is somebody else. The other one came and consumed it. Wasn't the
Excuse
guy
me,
who
I've got to get a call. Hello?
What page are we on right now?
We're on 115A,
Right.
and we're at the top of the page.
115A1, okay.
We're,
Rashi?
we're in the Gemara about no, but at the two dots, Itmar Ganav Machar.
On the left side, that paragraph where it says our Mishnah spoke, we did that paragraph, and we're just trying to do the Rashi's on that. Actually, we did went further. We continued on to the right side also, and that's what we're up to the last phrase, to Rav Chizkiah.
Okay.
We're doing it Itmar, or we're past that?
We read from it more. That's we started it more, and we're at the end of where that paragraph ends on the right side already. We're just trying to understand it.
Yeah, okay. So so Phil, you want to read this Rashi Masil de Rab Chisda?
Well, we started at it's Gazel who below if he was robbed, and lo mishu the owners did not have yish. Another one came and it was consumed. Rotze mize gova, and he wants to collect from this one v'chule. And now we just has to. If you said anything, just talk about a case. Bereish in the beginning, Pirkon, we make this diuk, Bahai, therefore Nami also, and this one also. Afal Dehave Demo Lagabe, even though he gave the money to the thief, Lagabe to collect it. How Miha is Gazlan. He's still considered a robber here. Who?
Amir.
Here, they know who have Agana, but we don't recognize who the thief is. It's lost to him. He has no one to collect because he doesn't know who the thief is. Rabbanan Makna Hashuk, the Rabbanan Miknat. The God looked for the Rabbanan because the Makna Hashuk. There's some kind of rule of a ruling in the shuk. He told take mashinitan, take what he could take it. Aval heche here, the hukara ganav, since the third is no alav, lachzir achrav, it should be returned. There's a difference in the case between whether you know who the thief is and you don't know who the thief is. If you don't know who the thief is, there's this takana hashuk. There's some kind of special ruling because it's in the general to know without knowing who it is. But if you do know who it is, you have somebody who can collect it from.
And you can't go, but he doesn't have it. The Lokeach has it. One second over here. He starts off, he quotes very sparsely a few facts about this case of Rav Chisda in the beginning of the parak. Reish Perkin means in the beginning of the parak that we're holding in right now. This case is mentioned, and Rav Chisda says whatever he says about it. The case looks like somebody stole Gazal. Below this Yashua Bailim, but the Bailim were not Miyayish. And then a third party comes along, Ba'achlu, and he consumes the stolen item. So now you've got a Gazlan, and you've got a somebody that consumed the stolen item. So over there it says the din is in that case is rotza if he wants, meaning if the Baal Bayis that was stole from, if he wants, he could make a claim mizeh, he could give a gova, he could collect from that one, and then Rashi says b'chule. He doesn't fill it in, but I'm assuming that this is it's gonna. If you look over there, wherever that is, you'll see that he's got a choice. The Balabais. If he wants, he could collect from this one. And then the next part of the sentence reads, if he wants to collect from that one, he could collect from that one also. I mean, either or, not from both of them. He can't collect from both of them, but he could collect from either one of them. He's either one of them are liable to him to pay up. The Goslin is liable to pay up because he's a Goslin. And the one that ate it, he's liable to pay up because he ate it. And this is in a case where the Bailim was not Miyayish. So now the Gemora says that both Rav and Rav Yochanan, they agree with this ruling of Rav Chisda. The Haid Nabi, Afugav the Yohiv Dami. This one also, even though he gave money. Now, who's the one who gave money over here? Yohiv Dami Laganev. Even though this purchaser, he's the one that we're talking about over here in Rashi. This one, even though he gave money to the Ganev because he purchased it, the Ganev sold it to him. Lagabi Hai, in regards to this one, meaning to the actual owner of the item that the Goslin stole it from, the Ganev stole it from, Mia Goslin who? He is a Goslin. He meaning the Lokeach that paid money for this item from the Goslin who stole it from the owner. Oh, so now if he is a Goslin, if the Lokeach is regarded as a Goslin, so then that would mean that the Lokeach would have to give it up to the owner, just like the Goslin would have to give it up to the owner, and he wouldn't have to pay him anything for giving it up to him either. That's what comes out. Oh, but our case, we're talking about a case. Sorry. But in the event that we do not know who the Ganav is, Hekada lo hooker aganav, because that case was talking about that we know who the Ganav is, who the Goslin is. But if we don't know who he is, Abad le Rabbanan Tekanas Hashuk. Then the Rabbanan made an ordinance of the Shuk that the purchaser from this Ganav, if the owner comes against him and wants his stolen item back from him, he sees that he's got it. Then the owner has to give that purchaser from the Ganav. He's got lito mashanosen. The purchaser is gonna take what he gave to the Ganav for the purchase of the item. That's the kanas hashuk. That's in order that the shuk should run properly, and the people will not be reticent to purchase things, lest the owner come and make a claim against them and take it away from them without giving them anything for it, because he says that you purchased stolen goods. Aval hecha de hooker aganav, but where the ganav is known, So then Olav Lachzor Acharov. He has to pursue after him. He's got to pursue after him, meaning the owner. It sounds like from Rashi that he doesn't even have the right to get it from the Ganav. From the Lokeach. He doesn't have the right to take it away from the Lokeach. Lokeach bought it, and that's that. Hey, for the Hukra Ganav, where the Ganav is known, then his only case, his only din is with the Ganav. He's got to go after him. He can't, even though the item is in the possession of the purchaser that purchased it from the Ganav. Okay, now we're going to go to further in the Gemara now. Amar le Abaye. Abaye, Alan, are you there?
I'm here.
You want to read Amar le Abaye?
Amalei Abaye. Abaye said to Rav Yosef, below Pelige, and do they not disagree with the sale was made before the owner's despair? Hor, Matanos, Kahuna, Bilfi, Yesh, Demai, for the gay, but Kohanic gifts were sold to a non-Kohen instead of being given to a Kohen, is similar to stolen goods that were sold before the owner's despair. And yet they argue in such a case. Dilnon, what we learned in the Mishnah, Omar Lo, Machor Li, Mehor, Shel, Boror. If one said to a butcher, sell me the innards of a cow for you, Bohen, Matornos, and the Kohanic gifts were among them, the non Liko Hain no Bamina Lo Min Hantomin. The buyer gives them to a Kohen, and he does not deduct the value of the Kohen gifts from the purchase price. If, however, he bought the cow's innards from a butcher by weight, the buyer gives the Kohanic gifts to a Kohen and he deducts their value from the purchase price. Omar Rav. And Rav said an explanation of the last ruling, which implies that the buyer can collect compensation only from the butcher and not from the Kohen. Lo Shana, they taught that the buyer has no right to compensation from the Kohen only where he weighed the innards for himself. But if the butcher weighed the innards for him, the claim of the Kohen is against the butcher. That is, he can sue only the butcher if he wants to collect the gifts from the buyer. He must pay for them.
Okay, very good. We'll see that case tomorrow a little bit. It had an awful lot of details. And Everybody have a great day. Hashem Yishmor Aleichem V'Alkol Klal Yisrael.
Okay, be
Surah
well.
Yeshuos V'Nachamois.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi.
Bye, thanks.
Lou,
All the best.
Lou, what Gemara are we using for this afternoon?
What? What, Alan?
What Gemara are we using this afternoon with Rabbi Ben?
We're still in Sukkot.
On Sukkot. Okay.
Yeah.